The crisis, the galaxy was in chaos. Alien invaders, known for their ruthless and destructive nature, were attacking peaceful planets across the galaxy. The alien ships moved swiftly, spreading fear and destruction wherever they went. Their attacks were so powerful that even the strongest military forces struggled to fight them off. On a small, peaceful planet called Earth, life went on as usual. The people there were known for their kindness and their desire to avoid conflict. They were often seen as timid, avoiding fights and preferring to live in peace. They had built a society that focused on cooperation and understanding, not on war and aggression. The alien attacks had caused massive destruction across many worlds. Cities were in ruins and millions of lives were lost. The Galactic leaders were desperate. They had tried everything to stop the invaders, but nothing seemed to work. The military forces from different planets had joined together, but they were still losing ground. The aliens were simply too strong and too organized. In this dark hour, a broadcast went out across the galaxy. It was a desperate plea for help. The message was sent to every corner of the galaxy, asking for any available forces to come forward and aid in the fight against the invaders. The broadcast was filled with urgency and desperation. The leaders hoped that someone, anyone, would step up and make a difference. Among the many worlds receiving the call for help was Earth. The leaders of Earth's government were in a difficult position. They knew their people were not warriors. They were known for their peaceful ways and their tendency to avoid conflict. However, they also knew that if they did not try to help, they would be leaving others to face the danger alone. In a small town on Earth, a group of people gathered to discuss the situation. They were ordinary citizens, not soldiers or heroes. They were known for their reluctance to get involved in anything that could lead to trouble. They were often labeled as cowardly because they preferred to stay out of dangerous situations. As the broadcast played, the group listened in silence. They had always been content with their peaceful lives, but now they felt a sense of unease. The thought of doing nothing while others were suffering weighed heavily on them. They were not trained for battle and did not have the experience of fighting wars, but the plea for help stirred something within them. One of the members of the group, a young woman named Emily, spoke up. "We can't just sit here and do nothing. People are suffering and we have the chance to help. We may not be warriors, but we have skills and knowledge that could make a difference." Her words were met with a mix of surprise and hesitation. The group had always avoided conflict, and the idea of stepping into a battle was frightening. But as they discussed the situation further, they began to realize that they could not ignore the crisis. They had a duty to try to help, even if it meant stepping out of their comfort zone. Despite their fears, they decided to respond to the broadcast. They volunteered to join the fight, not as trained soldiers, but as people willing to contribute in any way they could. They knew their efforts might not be enough to turn the tide, but they felt it was better to try than to do nothing at all. The news of Earth's volunteers quickly spread through the galaxy. Many were skeptical. The cowardly humans were known for their peaceful ways and lack of combat experience. Some thought their involvement was a futile gesture, but others admired their bravery for stepping up in such a desperate time. As the volunteers began their preparations, they faced many challenges. They had to learn quickly about the alien forces and how to defend themselves. They studied the tactics used by the invaders and how to counter them. They also had to prepare themselves mentally for the harsh reality of battle. The training was intense, and the volunteers struggled at first. Their lack of experience was evident, but their determination and willingness to learn kept them going. They practiced drills, learned to use new technology, and developed strategies to make up for their lack of military training. Through it all, they remained united by a common goal, to help those in need and to fight against the forces causing so much suffering. They knew they were not warriors, but they hoped their efforts would be enough to make a difference. The crisis in the galaxy continued to escalate, and the need for help became more urgent. The cowardly humans were preparing to join the fight, ready to prove that even those who were seen as weak could make a significant impact. They were determined to show that courage and strength could come from the most unexpected places. As they prepared to step into the unknown, they held on to the hope that their efforts would contribute to the fight against the invaders and bring some measure of peace to a galaxy in turmoil. The call for help, the galaxy was on edge. The alien invaders continued their ruthless assault, spreading fear and destruction across countless worlds. Planet after planet fell under their attack, and the situation seemed increasingly hopeless. The strongest military leaders from various planets had tried to fight off the invaders, but their efforts were in vain. The alien forces were too powerful, their tactics too advanced. In the midst of this chaos, the Galactic leaders sent out a desperate broadcast, a call for help that was broadcasted to every corner of the galaxy. The message was clear and urgent. We need help. The galaxy is under attack. Anyone who can fight, please come to our aid. The fate of many worlds depends on you. The broadcast echoed across space, reaching every civilization and every corner of the galaxy. It was a plea for assistance, a cry for those who could make a difference to come forward and join the fight against the invaders. The message was both a warning and a hope, a desperate attempt to gather any forces willing to stand against the alien threat. On Earth, the cowardly humans had just finished their training. They had been preparing for weeks, learning about the alien invaders and how to defend themselves. They were ordinary people who had been thrust into an extraordinary situation. They had no military training and no experience in combat, but they were determined to help in any way they could. When the broadcast reached Earth, it was met with mixed reactions. The group of volunteers had been working hard to prepare themselves, but they knew they were not ready for the full scale of the fight they were about to join. The message was a stark reminder of the gravity of the situation. It reinforced the importance of their mission and the urgency of their response. The leader of the Earth volunteers, a man named Daniel, gathered the group together. His face was serious as he addressed them. We've trained hard, but we're still new to this. The broadcast we just heard shows how desperate things are. We need to be ready for anything. The group nodded in agreement. They were nervous but also determined. They knew their skills and knowledge were limited, but they had a strong sense of duty. They wanted to prove that even those who were seen as weak could make a difference. Daniel continued, "We're going to join the fight alongside other forces from across the galaxy. We may not have the experience, but we have something just as valuable, the will to help and the courage to face danger. We need to make sure we're prepared for the challenges ahead." As the volunteers prepared to leave, the news of their involvement spread. Many in the galaxy were skeptical. The cowardly humans were known for their reluctance to engage in conflict, and their lack of military training made them an unlikely choice for a critical mission. Some galactic leaders and soldiers doubted their ability to make a difference. Despite the doubts, the humans were determined. They packed their supplies and prepared their equipment, knowing that they were about to enter a battle far beyond their previous experience. They said their goodbyes and set off towards the galactic assembly point where forces from various planets were gathering. The journey to the assembly point was long and filled with anticipation. The volunteers traveled through space, their spacecraft moving steadily towards their destination. Along the way, they encountered other ships carrying soldiers and allies from different worlds. The sight of these diverse forces coming together was both inspiring and overwhelming. When they arrived at the assembly point, they were greeted by a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The other forces were a mix of experienced soldiers, powerful warriors, and skilled tacticians. The humans stood out among them, their lack of military gear and formal training evident. Despite the initial reactions, the humans were welcomed and integrated into the preparations for the upcoming battles. They were assigned roles that suited their skills and knowledge, contributing in ways that were valuable even if they were not directly involved in combat. They helped with logistics, technology, and communication, using their unique abilities to support the larger effort. The galactic leaders and military commanders took note of their dedication. While some remained doubtful, others began to see the value in having the humans involved. Their willingness to help and their fresh perspective brought new ideas and approaches to the fight against the invaders. As the preparations continued, the volunteers had moments of doubt and fear. They were aware of their limitations and the enormity of the task ahead, but they also felt a growing sense of unity and purpose. They were no longer just ordinary people. They were part of a larger effort to save the galaxy from a devastating threat. The call for help had brought together a diverse group of allies, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. The humans, though inexperienced, had shown that they were willing to step up and make a difference. Their journey from timid individuals to active participants in a galaxy-wide conflict was a testament to their courage and determination. As the day of the battle approached, the humans prepared to face the unknown. They knew that their involvement was a small but important part of the larger effort. They were ready to show that even those who were seen as weak could contribute in meaningful ways and make a significant impact on the fight for the galaxy's survival. Training and preparation. The volunteers from Earth arrived at the Galactic military base, a massive space station orbiting a central star. It was bustling with activity as forces from various planets prepared for the upcoming battle. The base was filled with soldiers, engineers, and scientists, all working together to fight the alien invaders. The humans, despite their nervousness, were ready to begin their training. The training facility was a large, high-tech area designed to simulate combat conditions. It was equipped with advanced technology and weapons, something the Earth volunteers had never seen before. The facility was divided into different zones, each focusing on a specific aspect of combat and survival. Daniel, the leader of the Earth volunteers, gathered his team. "We're about to start our training," he said. "We need to learn quickly and do our best. This is our chance to show that we can make a difference." The volunteers nodded, their faces a mix of determination and anxiety. They were eager to learn, but knew they had a long way to go. They were ordinary people who had never imagined they would be part of a galactic conflict. Now they had to adapt to a world of advanced technology and combat tactics. The training began with basic combat skills. The volunteers were taught how to use various weapons and protective gear. They learned how to handle blasters, energy shields, and other advanced equipment. The instructors were patient but firm, pushing the humans to learn quickly. The volunteers struggled at first, their lack of experience evident, but they were determined to improve. Next came the tactical training. The volunteers were taught how to plan and execute strategies. They practiced working in teams, coordinating their actions to achieve common goals. They learned how to analyze enemy movements and adapt their tactics accordingly. The training was intense, and the volunteers found themselves exhausted by the end of each day. Despite the challenges, the volunteers began to show progress. They developed a better understanding of the technology and tactics they were using. They became more comfortable with their equipment and more confident in their abilities. They also started to bond as a team, supporting each other and working together to overcome their fears and weaknesses. One of the key aspects of their training was learning to think on their feet. The volunteers were put through simulated combat scenarios where they had to make quick decisions and react to unexpected situations. These simulations were designed to be as realistic as possible, with holographic enemies and dynamic environments. The humans faced numerous challenges, from ambushes to surprise attacks, and had to use their wits and teamwork to succeed. As the training progressed, the volunteers began to see the value of their efforts. They realized that their unique skills and perspectives could complement the more experienced soldiers. They brought fresh ideas and approaches to the table, helping to refine the overall strategy and improve coordination among the various forces. One day, the volunteers were given a special mission. They were tasked with setting up a communications relay on a remote outpost. This mission was crucial for maintaining contact between the base and the front lines. The volunteers worked together to complete the task, using their newly acquired skills to overcome obstacles and ensure the relay was properly set up. The mission was a success, and the volunteers were praised for their efforts. It was a turning point for them, proving that they could contribute meaningfully to the overall effort. Their confidence grew, and they began to feel more like a part of the team. Despite their progress, the volunteers knew that there was still much to learn. The upcoming battle was a daunting prospect, and they understood the importance of being fully prepared. They continued to train hard, refining their skills and strengthening their teamwork. Throughout the training, the volunteers faced moments of doubt and fear. They questioned whether they were truly ready for the challenges ahead, but they also found strength in their determination and the support of their fellow trainees. They were driven by a sense of duty and a desire to help those in need. As the final days of training approached, the volunteers were put through a comprehensive evaluation. They were tested on their combat skills, tactical knowledge, and ability to work under pressure. The evaluation was rigorous, but the volunteers passed with flying colors. Their progress was evident, and they had earned the respect of their trainers and fellow soldiers. With their training complete, the Earth volunteers were ready to join the fight. They knew that they would be facing formidable enemies, but they were prepared to do their best. They had proven to themselves and others that they could rise to the challenge, and they were determined to make a difference. As they prepared to leave for the front lines, the volunteers reflected on their journey. They had come a long way from their timid beginnings, and they were ready to face whatever lay ahead. They were no longer just ordinary people. They were part of a larger effort to save the galaxy from a grave threat. The training had been demanding, but it had also been transformative. The volunteers had gained new skills, built strong bonds with their fellow trainees, and developed a deeper understanding of their role in the fight. They were ready to show the galaxy that even those who were seen as weak could make a significant impact. First battle, the day had finally arrived. The Earth volunteers, after weeks of intense training, were ready to face their first real battle. The alien invaders had launched a new offensive, and the Galactic forces were mobilizing to push them back. The volunteers were nervous but determined, knowing that this was their chance to prove themselves. The scene at the Galactic base was hectic. Ships were being loaded with supplies, and soldiers were preparing for combat. The volunteers were given their assignments and briefed on the plan. They would be part of a squad sent to secure a strategic location on a nearby planet that was crucial for the defense effort. As the volunteers boarded their transport ship, their hearts raced. The ship was sleek and equipped with advanced technology, but it felt unfamiliar and intimidating. They were joined by seasoned soldiers who would guide and support them during the battle. The soldiers offered words of encouragement and advice, helping to calm the volunteers' nerves. The journey to the planet was tense. The ship traveled through space, moving swiftly towards its destination. The volunteers sat in silence, their minds filled with thoughts of the upcoming battle. They reviewed their training and mentally prepared themselves for the challenges they would face. When they arrived at the planet, the scene was both awe-inspiring and daunting. The once peaceful world was now a battleground. The sky was filled with the smoke of explosions, and the ground was scarred by craters and debris. The volunteers could see the alien ships hovering above, launching attacks on the defensive positions set up by the Galactic forces. The transport ship landed at a secure location, and the volunteers disembarked. They were greeted by the commanding officer of their unit, a seasoned veteran named Captain Zorak. He was a gruff but capable leader, known for his no-nonsense approach to battle. "Welcome to the front lines," Captain Zorak said. "We've got a job to do. Follow my lead, and we'll get through this." The volunteers nodded, their faces set with determination. They were ready to put their training to the test. Captain Zorak led them to their assigned position, a strategic outpost that needed to be defended against the alien forces. As they took their positions, the volunteers could hear the distant sounds of combat. The rumble of explosions and the crackle of energy weapons filled the air. The ground shook with the impact of the ongoing battle, and the volunteers felt the weight of their responsibility. The aliens launched a new wave of attacks, their ships descending towards the outpost. The volunteers prepared their weapons and activated their shields, ready to face the incoming assault. They worked together to set up defensive positions and coordinate their efforts. The first wave of alien forces arrived, and the battle began. The volunteers fought alongside the experienced soldiers, their training coming to life in the heat of combat. They aimed their blasters and fired at the approaching enemy ships, trying to keep them at bay. The initial moments of the battle were chaotic. The volunteers were overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the conflict and the intensity of the combat. They had to quickly adapt to the real-life conditions of battle, using their training to respond to the fast-moving and unpredictable situations. Despite their nerves, the volunteers held their ground. They communicated with their teammates and followed the commands of Captain Zorak. They used their newly acquired skills to manage their weapons and shields, trying to stay focused amid the chaos. As the battle raged on, the volunteers began to gain confidence. They started to recognize patterns in the enemy's attacks and learned to anticipate their movements. They worked together effectively, supporting each other and covering each other's weaknesses. One of the key moments came when a group of alien ships attempted to breach their defenses. The volunteers were tasked with holding off this critical assault. They worked in unison, coordinating their fire and using their shields to block the enemy's attacks. Their efforts were crucial in preventing the aliens from breaking through. In the midst of the battle, the volunteers faced several close calls. They encountered intense firefights and had to navigate through dangerous conditions. The experience was both exhausting and exhilarating, pushing them to their limits. Throughout the battle, the volunteers also learned the importance of teamwork and communication. They relied on each other for support and encouragement, building strong bonds that helped them overcome the challenges they faced. As the battle neared its climax, the Galactic forces began to push back the alien invaders. The volunteers played a key role in this effort, holding their position and contributing to the overall success of the defense. Their bravery and determination were evident, and their presence made a significant impact on the outcome of the battle. When the dust finally settled, the volunteers were exhausted but relieved. They had survived their first real battle and had contributed to a crucial victory. The outpost had been secured, and the alien forces had been repelled, at least for the time being. Captain Zorak approached the volunteers, a rare smile on his face. "You did well today," he said. "You showed that even those who are new to battle can make a difference. Keep up the good work." The volunteers felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. They had faced their fears and proven themselves in the heat of combat. They knew there were more battles ahead, but they were ready to face them with the same courage and determination they had shown today. As they returned to the base, the volunteers reflected on their experience. They had taken their first steps into the larger conflict and had shown that they could rise to the challenge. Their journey from timid individuals to capable fighters was just beginning, but they were ready to continue their fight for the galaxy's survival. Growing confidence. After their successful first battle, the Earth volunteers began to feel a growing sense of confidence. Their experience at the outpost had shown them that they were capable of handling the challenges of combat. They were no longer just inexperienced recruits. They were becoming valuable members of the galactic defense effort. The days following the battle were filled with activity. The volunteers continued their training, building on the skills they had developed. They were more familiar with their equipment and more adept at using their weapons and shields. The instructors noticed their progress and began to give them more advanced tasks and responsibilities. The volunteers also took on new roles within their unit. They were given responsibilities such as coordinating communications, managing logistics, and as Daniel, the leader of the Earth volunteers, was proud of the progress his team had made. He noticed how their confidence had grown and how they had started to take initiative. "We've come a long way," he said during a team meeting. "We're not just fighting alongside the galactic forces, we're becoming an integral part of this effort." The team members agreed. They had seen firsthand how their actions had made a difference in the battles they had participated in. Their previous doubts and fears had been replaced by a sense of accomplishment and purpose. They were starting to believe in their own abilities and in their ability to contribute meaningfully to the fight. One day, the volunteers were given a new challenge. The Galactic Command had identified a key enemy stronghold that needed to be neutralized. The task was dangerous but crucial for weakening the alien forces. The volunteers would be part of a special operation to infiltrate the stronghold and disable its defenses. The mission was a test of their growing confidence and skills. They would need to work closely with other units and use their knowledge of alien tactics to succeed. The mission brief emphasized the importance of precision and coordination. Any mistake could jeopardize the success of the operation. The volunteers prepared for the mission with a mix of excitement and nervousness. They reviewed their strategies, checked their equipment, and discussed their roles with the other units. The operation required careful planning and execution, and every team member had a specific task to perform. As they set out for the stronghold, the volunteers were determined to make a difference. They traveled in a stealth transport ship, moving silently through space to avoid detection. The journey was tense, with the volunteers focused on the task ahead. When they arrived at the stronghold, the volunteers marveled at its size and complexity. The structure was massive, with multiple layers of defenses and advanced security systems. They would need to navigate through heavily guarded areas and disable critical systems to achieve their objective. The team split into smaller groups, each assigned a specific task. Some members were responsible for disabling the outer defenses, while others worked on breaching the inner security. The volunteers used their training and teamwork to overcome obstacles and stay on track. Throughout the mission, the volunteers encountered several challenges. They had to deal with unexpected security measures and adapt to changing conditions. Their confidence and training were put to the test as they worked to achieve their goals. Despite the difficulties, the volunteers remained focused and determined. They communicated effectively with their teammates and used their skills to overcome obstacles. Their confidence grew with each success, and they began to feel like a well-oiled machine. One of the critical moments came when the team had to bypass a highly secure control room. The room was heavily guarded, and the volunteers had to find a way to disable its security systems without triggering alarms. It was a tense and delicate operation, but the team worked together seamlessly to achieve their goal. After several hours of intense work, the volunteers successfully completed their mission. They had disabled the stronghold's defenses and achieved their objectives. The stronghold was now vulnerable to attack, and the Galactic forces could move in to complete the operation. The successful completion of the mission was a significant boost to the volunteers' confidence. They had proven to themselves and others that they were capable of handling complex and dangerous tasks. Their growth as individuals and as a team was evident, and they were proud of their accomplishments. Back at the base, the volunteers were celebrated for their success. Their efforts had made a meaningful impact on the overall strategy and contributed to the Galactic Force's progress. The recognition from their peers and superiors was a testament to their hard work and dedication. The experience had strengthened their bonds as a team and deepened their sense of purpose. They had come a long way from their initial training and had developed a strong sense of confidence and capability. They were no longer seen as the cowardly humans. They were respected and valued members of the galactic defense effort. As they prepared for future missions, the volunteers reflected on their journey. They had grown from inexperienced recruits to skilled fighters and capable contributors. Their confidence had been hard-earned, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle for the galaxy was far from over, but the volunteers were prepared to continue their fight. They knew that their contributions were important and that they had the skills and determination to make a difference. Their growing confidence was a testament to their journey and their commitment to the cause. Major battle. The day of the major battle had arrived. The galactic forces were preparing for a decisive confrontation with the alien invaders. This battle was crucial for turning the tide of the war. The Earth volunteers, now seasoned by their previous experiences, were once again called to action. The galactic base buzzed with activity as soldiers and officers coordinated their final preparations. The volunteers joined their unit in the command center, where the strategy for the battle was being finalized. Maps and holographic displays showed the layout of the battlefield and the positions of both friendly and enemy forces. Daniel, the leader of the Earth volunteers, reviewed the plan with his team. "This is our biggest challenge yet," he said. "We need to stay focused and work together. Our goal is to breach the alien defenses and secure their command center. It won't be easy, but we've trained hard for this moment." The volunteers nodded, their faces serious but determined. They knew that this battle could be a turning point in the war. They were ready to give it their all, knowing that their actions could make a significant difference. The volunteers boarded their transport ship, which was designed for high-speed travel and equipped with advanced weaponry. As they ascended into space, they could see the scale of the battle unfolding below. The sky was filled with the flashing lights of energy weapons and the smoke of explosions. Their mission was to infiltrate the alien command center, which was heavily fortified and located in the heart of the enemy's territory. The command center was crucial for coordinating the alien forces, and taking it down would disrupt their operations significantly. The transport ship landed near the command center, and the volunteers disembarked. They were met by a team of elite soldiers who had been tasked with assisting them. The soldiers provided the volunteers with additional equipment and briefed them on the specifics of the mission. As they approached the command center, the volunteers saw the full scale of the alien defenses. The area was surrounded by energy barriers, automated turrets, and a network of patrols. The volunteers had to use their skills and training to navigate through these obstacles. The team split into smaller groups to tackle different parts of the mission. Some members focused on disabling the outer defenses, while others worked on finding a way into the command center itself. The volunteers used stealth and coordination to avoid detection and overcome the alien security measures. The battle was intense and chaotic. The volunteers faced fierce resistance as they fought their way through the alien defenses. They had to deal with a mix of enemy soldiers, automated systems, and alien technology. The situation was challenging, but the volunteers relied on their training and teamwork to stay focused. At one point, the team encountered a particularly tough enemy unit. The aliens were heavily armed and determined to stop the volunteers. The volunteers had to work together to devise a strategy to overcome this obstacle. They used their knowledge of alien tactics and their newly acquired skills to outmaneuver and defeat the enemy unit. As they progressed, the volunteers encountered additional challenges. The alien command center was protected by a series of energy shields and locked access points. The team had to use their technical skills to bypass these security measures and gain entry into the command center. Despite the difficulties, the volunteers remained determined. They knew that the success of the mission depended on their ability to stay focused and work together. They communicated effectively, coordinated their actions, and supported each other throughout the operation. Finally, after overcoming numerous obstacles, the team reached the core of the command center. They were faced with the task of disabling the central control systems, which were responsible for managing the alien forces. This was the critical moment of the mission, and it required precise execution. The volunteers worked quickly to disable the control systems. They used their technical expertise to hack into the alien network and shut down the command center's operations. The process was complex and required careful handling to avoid triggering any alarms or security measures. As the control systems were disabled, the alien defenses began to falter. The coordinated attacks on the command center caused confusion and disarray among the alien forces. The Galactic troops seized the opportunity to launch a full-scale assault on the weakened enemy positions. The volunteers watched as the battle shifted in favor of the Galactic forces. The alien command center's disruption had a significant impact on the overall battle. The Galactic troops advanced with renewed vigor, and the tide of the conflict began to turn. With their mission complete, the volunteers joined the Galactic forces in pushing back the remaining alien invaders. The battle continued to rage, but the success of their operation had dealt a severe blow to the enemy. The volunteers fought alongside their allies, contributing to the final push that would secure victory. As the major battle came to a close, the volunteers were exhausted but elated. They had achieved their objective and played a crucial role in the success of the operation. The alien command center had been neutralized, and the Galactic forces had gained a decisive advantage. Back at the base, the volunteers were celebrated for their bravery and contribution. Their success in the major battle was a testament to their growth and development. They had proven themselves as capable and reliable members of the Galactic defense effort. The victory was a significant milestone in the war, but the volunteers knew that there were more challenges ahead. They were prepared to continue their fight and support the Galactic forces in the ongoing struggle against the alien invaders. Their growing confidence and determination were a testament to their journey and their commitment to the cause. New reputation. The victory in the major battle marked a turning point for the Earth volunteers. They had faced one of the toughest challenges of the war and emerged victorious. Their success not only helped secure a key position, but also earned them a new reputation among the Galactic forces. Back at the Galactic base, the atmosphere was filled with a sense of achievement. The volunteers were welcomed with cheers and congratulations from their fellow soldiers and officers. Their performance in the battle had been exceptional, and they were now recognized as skilled and dependable fighters. Daniel, the leader of the Earth volunteers, was approached by several high-ranking officers. They praised him and his team for their bravery and effectiveness. "You and your team did a remarkable job," said General Oren, a respected leader in the Galactic forces. "Your actions have made a significant impact on the outcome of the battle." The volunteers were proud of their accomplishments. They had come a long way from their early days of training and had proven themselves in the heat of combat. Their reputation had changed from that of inexperienced recruits to capable and respected warriors. As they settled back into their routine, the volunteers noticed a shift in how they were treated. They were no longer seen as the cowardly humans who had stumbled into the conflict. Instead, they were recognized for their contributions and respected for their skills and bravery. Their newfound reputation brought new opportunities. They were invited to participate in strategic meetings and given more responsibility in planning and executing missions. Their insights and experiences were valued, and they were seen as key contributors to the overall effort. The volunteers also received new equipment and upgrades to their gear. Their success in the major battle had demonstrated their capability, and they were now equipped with the latest technology to aid in their future missions. This boost in resources further enhanced their ability to perform effectively. One day, the volunteers were called to a special briefing. The Galactic Command had a new mission that required their expertise. The task was to lead a joint operation with several other units to dismantle a major alien supply line that was crucial for sustaining the enemy's forces. The briefing was detailed and emphasized the importance of the mission. The supply line was heavily guarded and located in a remote part of the galaxy. The operation required precise coordination and careful planning. The volunteers would be in charge of a key segment of the operation. Daniel and his team reviewed the mission plan and prepared for the operation. They knew that their new reputation came with high expectations. They were determined to live up to their status and ensure the success of the mission. The preparation for the mission was intense. The volunteers worked closely with their new allies, coordinating strategies and rehearsing their roles. They used their experience from the major battle to refine their approach and address potential challenges. As the mission began, the volunteers led their unit with confidence and determination. They executed their tasks with precision, using their skills and newly acquired equipment to overcome obstacles. Their leadership and expertise were evident as they managed complex scenarios and adapted to changing conditions. The operation proceeded smoothly, thanks to the careful planning and coordination. The volunteers played a crucial role in disabling the alien supply line, cutting off a vital resource for the enemy. The success of the operation had a significant impact on the overall war effort, weakening the enemy's capabilities. Throughout the mission, the volunteers demonstrated their growing expertise and effectiveness. They worked seamlessly with their allies, showcasing their ability to handle complex and high-stakes operations. Their reputation continued to grow as a result of their performance. When they returned to the base, they were once again greeted with praise and recognition. Their success in the latest mission further solidified their new reputation as capable and respected members of the Galactic forces. They had proven that their previous victory was not a fluke but a testament to their skills and dedication. The volunteers continued to build on their reputation, taking on new challenges and contributing to the ongoing fight against the alien invaders. Their experiences had transformed them from uncertain recruits into experienced warriors, and they were prepared to face whatever lay ahead. Their new reputation also inspired other human volunteers and recruits. They saw the success of the Earth team as proof that with training and determination, even those who started with little experience could become key players in the fight for the galaxy. The volunteers' journey from underdogs to heroes served as a powerful example of growth and achievement. As they moved forward, the volunteers remained focused on their mission and their commitment to the galactic cause. Their newfound respect and recognition were a reflection of their hard work and perseverance. They were ready to continue their efforts and make an even greater impact in the ongoing battle. The Earth volunteers had earned their place in the galaxy's struggle for survival. Their new reputation was a testament to their growth and their dedication. They were no longer seen as outsiders, but as valued members of the galactic defense effort, and they were prepared to continue their fight with the same courage and determination that had brought them this far.